Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond the Shift. I'm Eric. Guys, today I have a special guest by the name of Ishmael. This guy has represented Sierra Leone. He's an athlete, but I'm not going to go in too much. So I'm going to get him to tell us his journey, where everything started. My guy.
Man, thanks for having me, man.
To the channel,
happy to be here.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen your work and really appreciate what you're doing. First of all, going back to say the name is Ishmael Dulu Kamara. As I said before, I am an athlete. I do track and field. I compete in the 100 and 200 meters. My athletics career started like 2014, 2015. I used to play soccer for like our local town. We have a team there that we call Leon FC. So it happens to be the ref that was reffing this match was the coach for the Northern Region Athletics. So I was playing and he just sees me just running up and down with the ball, like very fast, you know, with the ball. And after the game, he approached me and say, I would like you to try track and field. Think soccer, it's too long for like, you know, a lot of players, but track and field, it's an individual event. You win, you'll be considered. But at first it was really hard for me to like make that change, you know. It was really hard because, you know, when you fall in love with soccer, man, for you to get out of there, it's impossible. But the other thing as well was my dad, my grandma, they don't want me to play sports. They always want me to focus on the education aspect of life. They never want me to play sports. So it was really hard for me. Well, I decided to actually give it a shot. And I went and I trained, I think, a week. And they had organized a trial for the National Boxing Day sport and I actually won the trials.
Gee.
Yeah, I won the trials, both the 100 and 200, and then went to nationals and I won the nationals as well. So I was like, oh, this is great. But still, when I went back home, you know, to McKinney, I still started playing soccer again. And then I got injured and, you know, the coach wasn't happy about that. But in 2015, that's actually when I actually decided that, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. Let's try.
When you said that.
Yeah, but I said, okay, let's give this a try and see what happened. And the rest is history.
So when you decided to give it a shot, yeah?
Yeah.
So did you have like conversation with your family? Because when you said, okay, because I understand like African family, yeah? They want us to go to uni, do all this thing.
Exactly.
So how was that conversation with them?
So the person that I actually talked to was my mom, because my mom, she understand. Because by then I think that's my WAS exam and there's no money to go to uni. So that was the opportunity for me to like, you know, talk to my mom and explain everything to her. And then it was like, okay, your future is in your hands. If you don't make it or this happened, that happened, it's your fault. I'll talk to your dad. And my dad was like, okay, it is your life. You know, African parents, it is your life. You do whatever you want to do. And I was like, Dad, don't worry. And, you know, started running my first national championship when I won. I went to the All African Games and then came back and went to the Olympics and came back, went to the Islamic Games. So pretty much won around. And I was just sad that my dad, like, you know, wasn't able to be alive to see all those things happen, you know. But yeah, mom was the one that makes it happen.
Okay. So like, let me ask you, the first, okay, you're moving down to Freetown, yeah?
Yeah.
So how was like the culture shock for you? Because like leaving your family behind, now we're talking about new environments. So how was the challenge for you? Like new city, new people, and now this is your golden ticket.
Yeah.
So how was that challenge for like?
It was really tough at first, you know, moving out there because that was my first time like being an adult, moving to Freetown because I was there during the war. Like I was a baby, I had no idea. But moving out there, and I stayed there at a school compound and it was really, really tough, man. When I say tough, really tough. The way where you sleep, you know, there's barely anything to eat. You wake up in the morning, you go to training, you come back home, there's nothing to eat. But, you know, luckily for my man of God, I pray a lot. And I happened to have someone who decided to help me, you know, financially and helping me with food. There was a lady there with her husband that were helping me with food, you know, to support me. After training, I go to them, give me food, I eat, help them do, you know, little things at home, like chores at home, you know, because they use, mom sells cookery, like have a restaurant, a local restaurant, not a big restaurant. So I used to go there and I get food for free and then I fetch water for them. But I wanted to make it. I want to make my family proud. I've told my dad, this is what I want to do. So I was like, it's not going back. I'm staying here. We're going to go through it. And I was able to get through it.
Wow. What a story, man. So now, yeah, let me ask you this. The first competition you did, yeah, how was the atmosphere for you? Like, new kid from the countryside partaking with these guys like these stars, yeah?
Like big stars, yeah.
So what was going into your head like, man, now I'm into this real world? So the process.
Yeah, like first at the All African Games, you know, that was my first ever international competition. I was really, really nervous. It's like, damn, this is crazy. Seeing all like these athletes. There was an athlete, South African athlete, Jobwana. I think he came second at the 2015 World Championship, and I saw him. I was like, oh my God. So these guys are all here. So I was really nervous, but just like, you know what? I'm here to race. Let's go and do our best. And then, you know, get on the track. I ran a 10.7. By then in my heats, I ran a 10.7. I was about 16, 17. And I ran a 10.7, and all that's because of the nerves, and you know, the training conditions were not really good. And we pretty much went to the All African Games a day before. A day before it's like meant to start. That's the time we went there. So it was really like nerve-wracking for me. I was nervous, standing on the line, legs shaking, hands shaking. It was a very good experience.
But I want to ask you, yeah, representing Sierra Leone, how does that feel like? Is it okay, now I'm part of the country?
Yeah, it's, you know, it's a very good feeling, you know, like Sierra Leone has 7 million people, and there are like thousands of athletes there that do track and field. And, you know, I happen to be the fastest man of all those 7 million people. It was always an honor, you know, to put on the green, white and blue to represent Sierra Leone. Every single athlete said they always wanted to do, you know, good for the country. They want to go win medals for the country. It's just the system, the way like they do the system, people that are controlling the athletics or people that are controlling the soccer, you know, they don't put their interest for the athletes, it's just for their own. But for me, it's always an honor putting on the green, white and blue. Even when I got the call, because after our national championship, it's always like, we don't have money to send you to the games or to these games. I went back to McKinney, and then I started playing soccer. And that's when I got a call, say, you're going to go to the Olympics. So this happened because there was someone else that we're going to send to the Olympics, but because I have an official electronics time by then, no one else has run an official electronics time. So I was the only person. So like the time is, so the All African Games, I ran 10.7. That was the quickest time anyone has run back then in Sierra Leone. And all the other boys that are running, they all run hand time.
Oh, okay.
And I was the fastest because I just came into the picture. I started in 2015. They don't want to send me to the Olympics. They're like, oh, you too new, you can't go. We have to send like the guys that have been here for like 4, 5 years, 6 years. I was like, okay, that's not a problem. So I went to McKinney, and I got this call. They're like, you're going to the Olympics in 3 days time. Like, I was not even training, man, you know, but it was an honor for me saying the Olympics. And by then I didn't realize how big the Olympic is.
Which Olympic was this?
That was in Rio 2016.
2016?
Yeah, 2016 in Rio. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the Olympics. Well, let's do it, let's go. And, you know, I've been making it to the Olympics, you know, run my race, come back home. You know, it was a good experience, man.
Good experience for you, yeah? Because we want to know, like, tell us about the whole experience of Olympic, like, how did that sink in? Like, tell us that journey.
Yeah, man, first, you know, going to the airport, getting into the plane, you know, I'm actually like, oh, I'm actually going to go to the Olympics, you know, land in Brazil, see, very, very different from Sierra Leone. Like, oh, this is very, very different from my country and everything. And go to the games itself, opening ceremony. I see all these big athletes. I'm like, oh my God. So all these athletes are here. Remember one time I was walking, and then I saw Serena Williams, and he was like, oh, can we swap? Because we have the badges we put on a like shirt. And he was like, can we swap? And then we swap around. I'm like, yeah, don't swap a badge with Serena Williams. Like, yeah, this is crazy, man. I was nervous, but not like, because that was like my second time of representing Sierra Leone. I was.
When you swap the badge,
yeah.
I'll ask you this, but I want to ask you this, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you have like, how do you call it? Like, what hit you? Like, come on, I want to tell me. Like,
just like Serena Williams, you know, she's a GOAT, you know, tennis player. I didn't pinch myself for this. I was just like, man, this is crazy. Serena Williams, and I'm swapping the badge with him. This is crazy, man. And then one time we're going to training, and then I saw Blake Powell. We were the only people in the bus, and then I walked into this bus and I saw them. Man, I was nervous as hell. I was gonna ask for a photo, but I was so nervous that I was just like, oh my God. But then as Powell happens to like realize that I was nervous, so I asked for a photo. And then he walked up to me, you want a photo? I was like, yeah. My hand was shaking, trying to take the photo. My hand was shaking, and then I took the photo of me and him. It's like, this is crazy. All these guys be watching on TV, seeing them run, you know, great athletes, world record holders. And then when I went to my hotel, I was like, crazy. Why was I nervous? I should have asked Blake Bolt for a photo as well, you know? But yeah, it is what it is, you know, as a young man coming from Africa, Sierra Leone to be precise. You know, it's always the nerves, you know, being around those people.
Yeah.
But it was a crazy good experience for me, man. Crazy experience.
Wow. I wish that was me, but I would like, hey, my brother. I can imagine, yeah, like that kid from the village,
I know,
seeing all these guys in front of you, your idol. Man, let me shake your hand, man.
Thanks.
Maybe.
Thank you.
I'm still feeling Serena Williams. Bro.
Yeah, it was a good experience, man. Wow. It was crazy. It was good. And imagine the Olympics is like the biggest of all. You know, it says the Olympics, biggest sporting event on the planet. So at least I'll be like, well, I'm an Olympian.
Of course,
you have been to the Olympics. You know, every single athlete, everyone that does track, field, or any other sports that is part of the Olympic, they want to go to the Olympics. They want to have their name. You know, when you go on Google and then type their name, want to see Olympian.
So now I want to ask you, before we go to the advice here, I want you to tell us the challenges you face from the countryside to Freetown to the All African Games to the Olympic. Couple of the challenges you face, bro.
You know, one of the biggest challenges that I faced in my life, that was before I even started running. You know, that's why people see I get injured a lot. It's something that happened from when I was very young. You know, my cousin, you know, as kids, you know, very around there, you have a loaf of bread. So my cousin, I was eating my bread, yeah? And then he snatched it and then was running away, jumped this slab. It was like high to like hip level. So I was trying to jump it, and then I just went and slammed my knee into that, and everything just shattered. You know, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything, nothing at all, and can't go to the hospital, no money. So my grandma just had to go the traditional way. I was with that for like 6 to 1 year. For me, it's actually a big shock that I was able to run. You know, and in soccer as well, I kind of like fell and then break my back literally. And that takes another 6 to 1 year again. So all these injuries, you know, I've got before I started running. But then when I came to Australia, it's different. You have to lift weight, because I'm back home in Australia, I never lift weight. But here you have to lift weight, you know, you have to train two times a day. Even if I may have a job, I have to go to work. All that started playing up, you know, which is why I'm always injured, always getting injuries, you know, all these niggles and that. Like my knee, there's nothing in my knee. I'm just, because I know when I turn 50, I'm going to have to hold crutches.
So you say the injury was one of the challenges?
Yeah, that's the biggest setback, that I think I was not able to run to my potential. Because I'll train and I'll be in a very good shape, and then all of a sudden the knee will just like...
No. Hell no.
I've had enough pan, and I'll have to take a rest for like 2-3 weeks before I started again, and I'll go, and then my back will be like, hey, yeah, nah, let's wait.
Wait, let me ask you this. So if you are representing the country, so you trying to say the committee or the athletic state, there was no facility for you guys to like look after yourself?
Not at all.
Oh, this is absurd.
What a story, man. Okay, now tell me, yeah, Australia, moving to Australia. What makes you move to Australia? How that journey? Why Australia?
The story for Australia, you know, it's all something that has to do with politics. Because, you know, when I was back there, you know, the fastest man, have my popularity, and when I came from Makini, of course, you know it, and APC dominate. You know, I didn't know they were using me, but using my influence. Because that's the way to survive, man. You know, if someone gives you $1, they'll want something in return to return. So I will use that to organize sports, and then I'll come with them, talk to the athletes, going in campaigns, helping them. But we came to Australia, and then the election announced that APC lost the election. I'm like, this is crazy. And the first thing, when I was back there, I got threats, attacks, you know, from other athletes. And automatically I know my scholarship was an X, and all the threats that I've got. So I was like, it will be best for me to stay in Australia, seek asylum, and I seek asylum. And thanks to God now, I'm a permanent resident in Australia and just trying to move again to the next step. But it all has to do with politics, That's why talking to a few of the athletes back there, say, try as best as possible to stay from politics. Focus on your training, do your best, and you never know what will happen.
What a journey, right?
Okay.
So now, let me ask you this. Living in Australia, new life, new environment. So how do you stay connected with your roots?
Social media is very big right now. It's massive. I'll have you here, Erica, Khadija, sister, of course, from another mom, and the Sierra Leone community. And I talk to my family as well. Social media, WhatsApp, communicate with them just to make sure we stay in touch. Just the saddest thing was that when I was in Australia here, when my dad passed, I wasn't able to see him again. And then that was the end of it. He always tell me, I don't think I'll be able to see you again. And that happened. But yeah, and the Sierra Leone community as well, a few friends.
Okay, the sports wise, are you still doing athletics in Australia, or you 9 to 5?
Well, yeah, I'm a part-time athlete and a full-time worker. You can't focus on just running. I'm still running, I'm still doing the athletics. Just this year, unfortunate that I got really sick, not injured. I got injured, but I was okay after a few weeks. And I got sick again, and that forces me to pull out of a lot of things and just focusing on walking and focusing on the family. So yeah, I'm a full-time worker and a part-time athlete.
Okay, now, so tell me a part-time athletes, the process here with back up, can you compare here and back in Sierra Leone, the challenges?
There, it's more like when I used to train, I trained 2 times a day when I was back in Sierra Leone. After training, you come back, there's nothing to eat, there's nothing to do. Even if you go out trying to look for a job, there's no job. But here, you have a job, but I can't train full-time as I want to train because I got to give to my work and I got to give to training. So I kind of split it. So I would say they both have their advantages and disadvantages. You know what I mean? It's a different way of life back home there, man. It's different.
How do you balance? I know you come, you're tired from training all days, your mental health, because that's one thing affecting us.
Yeah.
But people don't say it. Well,
Yeah.
So for you, what keeps you grounded?
It just always have in the back of my mind that, I have a very, supportive family. I have a very supportive wife, and I had to do this for my family, for my mom, because I know how my mom struggled to raise 4 kids, send them to school. That's something that I'm always grateful for. My family keep me, on my toes. And of course, you have breaks down mental problems there and there. I was just trying to I'm here, I'm grateful. Seeing the condition of other people back on there, that's something I am always grateful for, so they keep me on my toes, my family.
That's it, man. Man, before we end up, let me ask you this. What's the advice will you give to that kid, but who is watching you, they want to take up athletics or sports in general?
The advice that I will give is perseverance, not giving up. Anything you want, of course, you have to work really hard for it. You have to persevere. You can fail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Don't give up. Always have God in front, behind, and your side. Always put God first in anything you do. And trust me, there'll be millions and thousands of doors that will open for you. And not giving up and persevere in anything you want to do.
That's it, bro. So now, because I always ask my guests about this, Beyond the Shift. So for you, what's Beyond the Shift means to you, in your own way?
Beyond the Shift, in my own way, I would say for me, it's looking back, looking back to all the good things, the bad things, the struggles, the ups and downs that you've gone through in life. You have a place here to share to the world for them to understand how your upbringing, and where you're heading towards. So for me, if I were explaining my own time, I think that's what it would be. Yeah.
So now, what's next for Ishmael?
Well, for now, just focusing on, raising our beautiful daughter. Of course, that's the number 1 priority for now. And of course, looking to go back to training, trying to get my, because I was sick, trying to get my body to 100% and then go back to training. And then fingers crossed, hopefully, trying to get coaching certificates, try and pass my knowledge that I've got from people that I've worked with, to pass it to the younger generation as well. So for now, yeah, we'll just go with the present, and in the future, we'll see what happens.
So often.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Oh, guys, we all had what the brother has said, his challenges, his up and down, the Olympics, everything. So I know each and every one of us have stories in our lives. But like he said, don't give up. Keep pushing. I know you're watching us now, you have your own chapter of life. So don't give up, keep pushing. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, turn on that bell. Ding, ding. Like, the athletes.
Yeah.
When that gun sound, ding. Until next time, this is Beyond the Shift. I'm Eric. Let's hold.